Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode 3 to be specific, of Rhody College Game Day. Noah McLane, Derosia, Jonny Blair rocking with you here the morning before all the action goes down. Last week, though, week 8, Rhode Island took a trip down to Albany, and unfortunately it was a long and rainy trip home. A 35-10 loss against the Great Danes was, well, not all the best that the Rhode Island Rams were hoping for, making every game all so important, especially today's. But before we get there was some highlights in that game, gentlemen. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, no, especially URI suffering their second straight loss. Not a whole lot to take away, but there was a few key standouts, specifically on the offensive side. Katero Summers continues to be a standout player for this offense. With 8 grabs from quarterback Kasim Hill for 92 receiving yards. Great day for Katero out wide.
And then on the defensive side of the ball, we're going to take a look at outside linebacker A.J. Pena, who he only had 3 tackles, which actually for an edge rusher is pretty good. And then also the 28-yard interception return, a very good productive day for the edge rusher. And then the inside linebacker, senior Evan Stewart, 11 tackles and 1.5 tackles for loss. The linebackers making plays for this Rhody defense as they have all season.
Things that the Rhode Island Rams will need to carry on to today for what they are calling the revenge of the Rams. That's one segment to come. We'll also talk about a couple of other things. The FCS playoffs. How can the Rhode Island Rams get there? Who needs to win? Who needs to lose? Business needs to be taken care of. Game day picks. The all too fun video board, which we featured in our last episode. And don't worry, it is soon to come, we promise. All that coming on Rhody College Game Day. Welcome back, everyone, here on Rhody College Game Day. Derosia, Jonny Blair, Noah McLane rocking with you. Revenge of the Rams, and this game is, well, all too known for the players, staff, and just about everybody that knew what happened last year when exactly 350 days ago, guys, the URI Rams suffered a fourth quarter loss, crucial towards the end of the season, by a final score of 31-29, a very tough one. Kasim Hill always doing his thing, 222 pass yards, 65 rush yards, 3 total touchdowns, and impressive. Katero Summers, 4 receptions, 68 receiving yards, 1 receiving touchdown. Evan Stewart, 9 tackles, 1.5 sacks. Well, Evan Stewart's been a name maybe for some other reasons this season, but always very, very great. Jarrett Martin, 7 tackles as well. And guys, let's break down just about, everything else that went down in that game that Rhode Island needs to do today to make that flip the script.
Like Noah said, exactly 350 days ago, URI took a crucial defeat to the Wildcats, and in that game, with 17 seconds left, quarterback Max Brosmer hit DJ Lincolns for the game-winning touchdown. But on this season, Brosmer is having a very good season. He has 319 yards per game, 21 touchdowns, and only 2 interceptions on the season. Very good numbers, protecting the football. And he's finding DJ Lincolns, who has 21 receptions and almost 300 yards receiving also on the season. That's a very lethal duo that URI is going to have to stop.
Yeah, no, Max Brosmer and the 4-3 UNH Wildcats come in today to Kingston looking for a victory. Big playoff implications for both teams, as both teams are sitting right around 500. Max Brosmer, as Jonny said, having a career year, dropping his touchdown to interception ratio much from last year, with 8 picks last year, only 2 this season. So big game for both teams, strong veteran presence on both sides, and we're going to take a quick break and be right back with some Rhody Game Day.
Welcome back, everybody, here on another episode of Rhody College Game Day. Noah McLane, Jonny Blair, Derosia, and, well, a man that needs no introduction to the Rhody football program, Coach Fleming. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your day today. Well, first of all, first things first, how you doing on finally a beautiful Saturday for some football?
How good is this? I mean, but thank you guys for doing this. This is a great opportunity to expose Rhody football. You just can't get any better than this. I mean, look at this Meade Stadium, empty, the quiet before the storm, and great opponent coming in here, so you really couldn't ask for anything better. I hope everybody has a chance to get out of their beds and get down here.
Well, you and me both. We certainly hope that. And, Coach, we just talked about last year, obviously, this is a revenge game, but how much do you think that's in the back of your mind, of their mind? Obviously, each game presents an individual thing. You have to go in with some remembrance, but also every day's a new day. What's that going to be like in the locker room, the message to your guys before this game?
Well, the message has already been put out there. We used the motivational factor of last year. They impacted opportunity to impact the course of theirs this year. Obviously, they went on to become champions last year, and that had a lot to do with them being able to knock us off. I think that if we can knock them off today, we can take them out of that picture and still keep our goals alive. We obviously have an uphill struggle. We got to win today. We got 2 more after that, and then you're waiting on the football gods to be able to grant us an opportunity to play in the playoffs. But looking forward to today. It's going to be a good game, and I don't think that we're going to talk too much about last year.
Well, great to hear, and every day. Coach, I want to talk about also something that we talked about with obviously former player, but not in any way missing from this team, and of course Christian Arrington. He was always around doing anything he can on the sidelines. We talk to him, we see him so involved with this team. One word that he was preaching in just about every chance he got about this program was family, and that episode of coming in and just talking about how this team is bigger than just a game of football. And obviously it seems like, especially with the game today, even though it might not be talked about a lot about last year, this is where this team needs to become a family, and that seems to start a lot with you. He gave you a lot of praise. What's your why is that such a big thing to you to come out and preach that?
Well, you've got 100 kids in the locker room, and they're all got to be committed to a common goal. And when you look at the game of football, like family, like the military, to some extent, not exclusively, but it's about playing for your brother. It's about making sure that you are responsible to do what you're able to do, knowing that if you don't accomplish your task in that singular play, then you're letting down your brothers. And if you have a team that completely buys into that and will support each other through thick and thin and not fracture at times when it gets tough, then it gives you your best opportunity to win. So the locker room, how that is, and that heartbeat is extremely important to giving you a chance out here to do what you need to do, because this will be, like every other CAA game, a knockdown, drag-out, extremely emotional, 2 teams coming in trying to knock the snot at each other. But, it really becomes a matchup of who has the best team, and that's our message to our kids this morning and last night, and I think they're ready to rock and roll.
And Coach, one final question for you. Max Brosmer, obviously this is a name that everybody is familiar with, including yourself. He's having one hell of a year. But also, on the flip side, it seems that with every game, there is something to take away from your defense. There are a lot of guys that have done fantastic things. Wish we could name them all. Of course, we listened for every shout-out that we give to all the players here on Rhody Gameday. But what's your message to that defense? He's coming in, those guys want to knock his head off. How are you going to contain him today and just kind of, get Rhody to a win?
Well, you got to stay in the fight. He's not leading the country in passing or whatever for any, surprising reason. Hasn't been lucky so far. But, they're going to make some completions, and you can't freak out. One completion doesn't beat you. But what we do have to do is we have to play really fast to the ball. We've got to, make sure that we're tackling the catch, which there will be plenty. And, you can never lose sight of the fact that even though you got Brosmer out there slinging it, I do believe 20 Lobby is the one that makes it go. You got to make sure he's contained as well. So defense got their work cut out for them, but it's a team game, and we got to involve all 3 facets of the game to be able to come out on top on this one.
Absolutely. And speaking of coming out on top, Coach, before we let you go, I know you're a busy man. You got things to take care of this morning. We thank you so much again for joining us. Maybe a final score prediction from you. Not a chance, he says.
How about a game MVP? How about a game MVP?
I can't even go there. I'm sitting there thinking about whether to receive or defer. That's about as far as I've gotten in this spot. So,
well,
I expect our best performance, and that's what I told them last night. We have not achieved that yet. Our best performance as a football team is something that you're always after during the season. We haven't been able to put it together that way, and I think if there was ever a need to have that, it's probably against New Hampshire at home. Going into November, where those are the games that make a difference in what happens postseason and all the rest of it.
Well, there you have it. The every game matters mentality. Of course, this one ever so important. We would like to thank you, Coach, so much for coming out and spending some of your time with us. Of course, maybe we'll be lucky enough to get him back on here. Of course, a beautiful Saturday for football. Coach was mentioning the college, the FCS playoff schedule and picture. We're going to break through all of that, the potential ways that Rhode Island could get in, who needs to win, who needs to lose, and I'll tell you what, it all starts here today with a Rhode Island win and a New Hampshire loss when we come back.
Welcome back to Rhody Gameday. Connor Derosia here with Noah McLane and Jonny Blair. For this segment, we're going to break down the FCS playoffs with 4 weeks remaining. You guys got to win out. Your Rhode Island Rams have a bye week following this matchup against Max Brosner and New Hampshire Wildcats. Following that, after the bye week, we're going to have our final home game at Meade Stadium of the year as we play North Carolina A&T before flying down to Townsend to take on Townsend. URI with a 4-4 record entering today needs to win out in order to have any chance at the playoffs. Not a whole lot of control, but what we can control is winning the next game. In the FCS, 24 teams make the playoffs. The top 8 seeds all get byes, while the bottom 16 play in the first round where it's survive in advance or don't and die.
Last year in 2022, the Rams finished 7-4, 5-3 in conference, but then that last lost defeat to the Wildcats, the same team we're playing today, really took a big blow to that playoff chances. This year, they're hoping to have the same record, 7-4. They'd have to win out to get that. They have a lot of players in their last year of eligibility thanks to the COVID eligibility extension. So this is their last chance to really make their mark in the FCS playoffs and for this team. They don't control their own destiny, unfortunately. They're going to have to win out, which is something that they just absolutely have to do. That'll go a long way if they can do that into getting them into the playoffs. But hopefully they can do that. It starts today with the UNH win. These players are going to have to fight for their lives today, as I'm sure UNH is aware of, that this is pretty much URI's last chance to have any shot to make the FCS playoffs. But yeah, we'll look for a Rhode Island win today.
Well, we'll see what that will bring. And speaking of game day, we'll be back with game day picks, predictions, and more in just a few moments. Welcome back, everybody, here on Rhody College Game Day. Speaking of game day, we got picks coming for you right here. Let's toss it to first Connor Derosia on my right. Connor, which player today will score the first touchdown?
I've got Darius Savage coming into this game with 37 catches for 458 yards. And the last game in the loss to U of Albany, he had 8 catches for 59 yards. I think he finds the paint for the 5th time this year and gets in the end zone.
And the same question to you, Johnny.
You know, I'm looking for running back Jaden McKenzie. You know, I have a feeling that we're going to get down into the red zone deep in there. And then Kasim Hill, who's had some ankle injuries so far this season, I think they're going to hand it off to Jaden McKenzie. The running back gets in.
Well, I cannot agree with you guys more. My pick is actually, despite those ankle injuries for Kasim Hill, we've been hearing about a lot of family talk, a need for leadership. Kasim Hill, the leader of this pack, is going to run one in for a touchdown for about maybe 4 or 5 yards, sneak it in there for 6 points. Next question, though, who will force the first turnover? We started on the right. Let's go to the left this time. First turnover for the Rams. Who do you got?
You know, I got that safety, Jordan Colbert. He's made some good plays so far this season. Kind of a ball hawk for this URI secondary. He's got 2 picks so far this season. I have a feeling he's going to get another one today.
And Connor, the same question to you.
My first turnover, I've got AJ Pena, leads the team in sacks. Stealing your pick there, Noah. Sorry. 6.5 sacks on the season. Max Brosner does not turn the ball over at all. Only 2 picks on the year. So I don't think there's going to be an interception, but I think AJ Pena gets in the backfield and finally gets a strip sack. He's had 2 forced fumbles on the season, but no fumble recoveries. I think today is the day he finally gets a strip sack and recovers it himself.
Man, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was literally so excited to talk about AJ Pena, but I don't even say it anymore besides AJ Pena as my pick for the first forced turnover. My apologies. And now, which star player will have the biggest game, the MVP of today? Now, we say the which star player, but this could also be somebody different. This is a game where sometimes heroes emerge where you don't expect them to. Who's going to be that hero?
I mean, just going off my last point with first turnover, I think AJ Payne is going to be a game changer. I think if URI wants to win this game, we need to get pressure. AJ Payne has been the only guy getting pressure, getting in the backfield and wrapping up the quarterback all year. If Rhode Island's going to win, he's going to need probably 2 sacks and a forced fumble. So that's my pick for the MVP. So, yeah, what do you think, Jonathan?
You know, we always say that MVP is a quarterback's award, and as much as I don't really want it to be, I think it's absolutely true. I think Kasim Hill is the start and the end of this offense. He does everything for them. When he doesn't have it, the offense doesn't have it. I'm hoping that he does have it today. Big game for Rhody. If he doesn't have it, we're in trouble, but I think he does, and I think he's a game changer today.
Thank you all so much for joining us on yet another week of Rhody College Game Day. And with that, stay tuned. After the bye week, the final home game of the season comes for your Rhode Island Rams on November 11th right here. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll see you in 2 weeks on Rhody College Game Day.